Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Piano Lessons with Elvin, episode 18, How to Read Music, and this time we're doing bass clef. Be sure to check out the previous video where I talked about treble clef. But yeah, hope you guys are having a great day when you're watching this, and we're just going to dive right in. There will be a bit of overlap on the concepts of reading bass clef, because in essence, the way you read bass clef is exactly how you would read treble clef, or really any clefs in music. There are more than those two clefs, but on piano we'll just play those two. So just bear that in mind, and I'll talk a bit about some of the overlap between the clefs, which I'll talk about more extensively in the next video, where I'll just talk about how to read music with both clefs, with both hands at the same time as you will when playing piano. But yeah, so hope you guys are ready. I'm just going to grab the phone real quick. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, so like last time with treble clef, I want to start off by saying an alternate name for it, which to me gives you is just a bit more helpful. So with treble clef, we also know that it's called G clef. With bass clef, it also has an alternate name called F clef. And I try to draw these old school, like if you look up any really nice history book on music, they'll show these little evolutions. So somehow this looks like an F. This is like, I guess, some weird backwards F. It was a lot easier with treble clef to see that it looks like a G. But yeah, so just like with treble clef, between the circle here is always G. With F clef, between the two dots is F, which is pretty nice to remember. Now, in theory, all you need to know is one note location. So if this is F, you can just count up or down. One above F, A, B, C, D, E, F, G would be there. One below F, A, B, C, D, E, F, so F, E, and then I could keep going. D, if that's F, what about this top line? F, G, A, etc. But I'll show a few other methods, and just like with the prior one, to me a big thing with this will be all roads lead to Rome. So you have a few choices to get to the destination. So just like with treble clef, bass clef has 5 lines. Good birds don't fly away is a great acronym for it. You'll also hear great big dogs fight animals. That's common. Spaces, I think the main one is all cows eat grass. You got to get that grass-fed beef. That's where it's at, everybody. Or sometimes you'll hear all cars eat gas, but that sounds a little gross. So let's stick with sorry guys. Let's stick with animals for this. And that's also, to me, another hint I have to recall what acronym applies to what clef is. Bass clef deals with animals. Good birds, all cows. Treble clef, we could think of, deals with people. Every good boy deserves fudge, and space is spelled face, like human face, so that might help there. And then sometimes broadly, I like to think bass clef are all the low notes, so they're more like beast mode notes. Roars or something. I mean, that's kind of dumb. And then, hi, I'm a human, I speak higher, for treble clef. I'm just giving you some funny things that I've used a lot to help, particularly with my younger students. Having funny ways for them to connect the dots like that is really nice. So, good birds don't fly away, all cows eat grass. Here's what it would look like in bass clef. So here are the 5 lines. We'll have good birds don't fly away. Then for the spaces, all cows eat grass. Now, in a way, you only need to know the lines, or you only need to know the spaces. One of them, in a way, you could think of as being redundant. Because if you know, let's say, the lines, this is a G, you'll know that one higher than a G is a A. Then if that's a B, you'll know that one higher than a B is a C, or vice versa here. If I know all cows eat grass, and I know that's a G, then I can go, okay, well, that's a G, what's one above G? Oh, that's the A. Or I could have thought good birds don't fly away, and that ends up being, the same answer in the end. So there's also 2 other notes I wanted to point out. Just like with treble clef, we kind of have these no man land notes right above the top line, which will be A, good birds don't fly away, will have B, and then right above B, middle C. And we'll talk more about this no man land area where they're called ledger lines, which are notes above or below the staff, and the staff being the 5 lines, 4 spaces. But yes, these are very common notes to read in bass clef that do not pertain to this acronym, which is a bit unfortunate. The acronym deals only with notes within the staff. But B and C is very common because this C will be middle C, and just that location on the piano, the very center of the keyboard, is often used, especially in beginning music. So then also, like treble clef, I wanted to present a third way to possibly read notes: guidepost notes. Some people just prefer this instead of thinking of acronyms. With it being F clef, between the 2 dots, it's always F. That's a classic choice for guidepost notes. Help with the top half or the top third of bass clef. Then this bass C, some will call it, all cows. That's nice for the mid-range. And then the very bottom note there, G, good, birds don't fly away, good, to get the bottom range. So some prefer to view that instead of the acronym, or just remembering one note between the 2 dots is F. That might help you. And then I wanted to say, always a good choice with both clefs to recall where middle C is. Here's how middle C presents itself in treble clef. Here's how it presents itself in bass clef. And I can kind of explain the differences with that on the next video when I talk about both clefs. But that's just common because middle C is really the first note anyone ever learns on really any standard method book, and it's extremely common all the time, but once again, mostly, very, very prevalent in beginning method books, but you see it nonstop. So just because, that's the sweet range. Middle range is really nice. So great to always include those as your guidepost notes. Now, a question we could have is, what is the range? As a brief refresher, for treble clef, here was middle C. Let me turn the volume on, sorry. Here's middle C. There's the D above it. This is kind of that no man's land range. And then here's where the line started. Every good boy deserves fudge. Then in between it would be the spaces. Spaces spell faced, F-A-C-E. So treble clef, this range. Middle C to here. And then I added this one extra note, G, because that's just, one above, and that's the first ledger line note above the staff, and it's just nice to include it. So treble clef here. Now, here's middle C for bass clef. And I'm just going to kind of walk down here. Here's where the bottom line starts. At this G, there's the very bottom. So you see we have the lowest note A, lowest G, and then the second G. And here's good, birds don't fly away. And then in between, all cows eat grass. So the 5 lines, 4 staff, or 4 spaces, occupies this exact range here. And then, as I explained a minute ago, we have these no man land notes right above the A. We have that B, and then middle C. And I even wrote the D. These 3 notes that exist between the staff. Here is bass clef staff, all 5 lines, 4 spaces. Here's treble clef staff, all 5 lines, 4 spaces. And then we get these 3 notes in the middle that are very, very common, but don't lie within the staff itself. And that's that concept again of ledger lines. So you see that takes up a nice range. If we think about bass being here for the lowest line, and then I even added that G. So you go G to G, which is about half of the piano range. There's the top. So you get a nice amount from here all the way to there. Is what we will be reading when we incorporate both staffs. Now, back to this for a little bit. You should be pretty equipped now using these 3 methods to read some of these notes. So I'm just going to go through a few. Okay, what's this one? Oh, that's going to be easy peasy. I know between the 2 dots is F. Boom, F. What about this? Okay, all cows eat grass. That's the space. All, A. Okay, there we go. A line. Good birds don't. Great. D, or I could have thought I love F as a guidepost note. F is here. Countdown. F, E, D. There's C. I could remember that's the C because of the guidepost note that I recommended that. Or what's right below a D? A, B, C, D. D, C. Or all cows. What about this one here? Good birds don't fly away. So we get A for that one. Here we go. Great to do the spaces here again. Good birds don't fly away. So G. all cows eat. I could have counted down for this one. Not efficient. E, D, C, B, A, G. But it still works. Not efficient, but it always works. Sometimes it's a nice confidence boost to do little spell checking things like that. And then the final one I wrote here, good birds, B again. Or we could have thought about that C guidepost note, C, B. Or we could always remember the fourth line is F, and we could have counted down F, E, F, E, D, C, B. So yeah, and that's kind of me just trying to show 3 different approaches for the same thing. Now I want to reference the same 2 songs I did last time, so I'm going to show you a kid song, just to show that this concept works all the time. So if we're looking at this, here's a Shenandoah, yeah, one of the classics, okay. And soon I'll be going through actual method books so you guys can play some songs. There we go, there's a space. Okay, there's a, between the 2 dots is F, what's right above it? F, G, cool. Or, all cows eat grass, perfect. Another space, all cows eat, E, or I could have counted down G, F, E, or, I know this is an F, between the 2 dots, or good birds don't fly, so I could have counted down F to E to get that. F, this will be a G, one above F's a G, or all cows eat grass. There's a D, G, F, E, D, good birds don't. Here's F, good birds don't fly, or between the 2 dots is always F on the 4th line, F clef. And then right below it, F, E, all cows eat. What about this one here? All cows, there's a C. What about this note? Good birds don't fly away, there's a A. Now I'm going to show you with the very advanced list etude piece that I was doing, quite the difference on how to read. But let's just look here. I love this passage. It's very, very fun to play, but let me just kind of point out these notes here. So son is these little things called sharps. This is still the same thing. Bass clef, good, so there's a G. Good bird, so there's a E. All cows eat, there's a E. All cows eat grass, there's a G again. What about here? This, don't worry, this switches to treble clef a bit. Back to bass clef. What about this? Good birds, there's a B. Let me look here. Okay, good birds. Let's see, let me get it closer here. A little focus for you guys. Good birds don't fly. There's a F. Right below a F's a E. What about this note again? Good birds. There's a B. What about this one here? All cows eat grass. There's all. So that's the A. What's right below a A? Boink, a G, and that's super, super tiny, what we call a grace note. But I just wanted to show how this always works here. I'm going to put the phone back to do a little recap. And hopefully this time it'll focus. I notice it's kind of having a hard time auto-focusing on stuff there. But yeah, let me just, I hope I'm not blurry. Am I blurry? If I am blurry, I guess it adds a little bit of mystery to me. But yeah, so that is this video, and the prior video I hope really helps you guys explain and understand how to read the notes. I brought this up in the last one, but a big thing for me is to expose you to a large range of notes at the very beginning so you don't create these self-made shackles within your own mind, where so many method books start you off in small hand positions, exposing you to a very small range of notes. So we get this unsubstantiated fear of like the notes that are outside of that. You know, the top of the staff and the bottom of the staff, those notes are crazy because you don't get exposed to them for a while. Once again, like I said in the prior video, with these acronyms and all these methods, it's not any harder for me to read G than A. Good birds don't fly away, good birds don't fly away, you know. G and A, it's not any more difficult for me to process that acronym. Me counting down from that F to like a C, or thinking all cows, or FEDC. All of those things are just as effective, just as quick. So there's not really any reason to prolong that. And if we prolong it and stick to very small hand positions, which physically and mentally we'll still do that in some of the first songs just because it's less burden on the mind, but I don't want that to restrict you with the comprehension of the notes itself. You know, we're just doing this just to make it easy on you when we do some of these first songs. But it's so great to be exposed to a large range. We're now being exposed to about half the piano, maybe a bit more, and we're really exposed to sort of the most important range of the piano. All of the more extremes, the higher and the very low, those we're not going to see till we get to more advanced music. So having this exposure will give us the ability to jump into actual real songs, you know, giving you real pieces of music, not doing Shenandoah and Mary Had a Little Lamb, which are these embarrassing songs that you don't want to show anyone and you wish you didn't learn. You know, let's learn, like I was saying last time, maybe a very easy Bach piece that Bach wrote for one of his students, or Schumann, one of the great 19th century composers. He wrote some really nice pieces for his students at the time that are exponentially more difficult than student songs now. And if a child from the 19th century could do that song, why can't a child in 2023 do it? You know, it's not like we got dumber, or maybe we did get dumber. Sometimes I'm not sure. But yeah, I hope that helps you guys out a lot. I appreciate all of the subscribes. I recently broke 100 subscribers, which is big for me. I know that's not much, but it does mean a lot to me, and I appreciate you guys. And the next video I'll do will be just how to read both clefs at the same time, which is where things get scary, okay? So hope you enjoy the day, and please like and subscribe and all of that stuff, and I'll see you next time. Happy practice. Cheers.